It's amazing how you can overlook the stuff you use every day, right? And then
Yeah.
you see a market like the beauty tools market,
Huh. Right.
valued at like over $68 billion just this year.
Yeah.
And it's projected to hit like 133.8 billion by 2032.
Wow.
And that's like an annual growth rate of almost 9%. So
Yeah.
almost a 10% growth every year.
Wow.
That's a really high, what they call a THI or compound annual growth rate.
Yeah.
And it really shows you that there's something big going on here.
Absolutely.
Like it's not just about the actual devices and gadgets.
Right.
It reflects how much more people are taking control of their own self-care and
Yeah.
doing things at home that maybe they would have gone to a salon for before.
Yeah, exactly. It really points to that shift that consumers are looking for effective and convenient ways to enhance their beauty routines outside of a salon.
Right, exactly. And so today we're going to deep dive into this market and really look at the key players that are driving this growth
Absolutely.
and what makes them so successful in this crazy like environment.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space because by understanding these big manufacturers, you can really start to see
Yeah.
how innovation and consumer demand kind of, are
Come together.
yeah, exactly.
So for this deep dive, we have this really detailed market research article
Hmm.
that outlines like all the top manufacturing companies in the beauty tool sector.
Okay, great.
And our mission today is to like pull out all the crucial insights about these companies,
Okay.
like their main strategies, their innovative approaches,
Yeah.
even some of the challenges they're facing,
Right.
and give you, the listener, a really clear and concise understanding of what's driving this industry forward.
I'm excited.
So let's jump right in and start talking about the big dogs in the beauty tools market.
Okay.
The real like heavy hitters.
All right.
The article spotlights the top 5.
Okay.
And you're going to recognize these names right away.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So the first one we're going to talk about is Procter & Gamble, or P&G.
P&G.
And
Huge company.
huge, right?
Yeah.
Headquartered in Cincinnati.
Okay.
But their reach is unbelievable. Like it's every household globally, pretty much.
All right.
You know?
It's crazy.
And in the beauty tools arena, they kind of focus on a broad spectrum of things. But
Okay.
notably, they have electric hair care under the Braun brand.
Right.
They have various skincare devices.
Okay.
And interestingly, their Oral-B electric toothbrushes,
Oh, interesting.
they fall under the beauty tools umbrella too.
Huh. Okay.
So, and their distribution network is so massive
Yeah.
that they can get these tools into the hands of consumers in over 180 countries.
I mean, that global reach is just incredible to think about.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And the article highlights their strengths in innovation and technology.
Yeah.
They're constantly coming up with new stuff.
Right.
Their 2023 sales were a massive $84.04 billion, with a huge chunk of that coming from their beauty and grooming divisions.
That's a lot of toothbrushes and razors and everything else.
It is, and it makes you wonder, with that kind of scale, how do they stay so innovative?
Right, because usually when companies get that big, it's hard to,
Yeah.
keep that kind of nimbleness and be, ahead of the curve.
Right.
So I'm curious about that too.
Well, what the article pointed out is that
Yeah.
they leverage a massive amount of consumer data.
Okay.
They collect it from all their different product categories.
Right. They've got their fingers in so many pies.
They do.
Yeah.
And that allows them to identify emerging needs and trends in the beauty space before smaller,
Okay.
more specialized companies
Gotcha.
might even notice it.
So they're kind of like seeing the big picture.
Yeah, they're seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
And that gives them a huge first mover advantage, even in like very specific tool niches.
That makes sense.
Like they can jump in before anyone else is even ready.
Mhm.
And they're also really committed to R&D.
Okay.
They have like the resources to really dig deep into how technology can refine and improve those everyday routines that we all have.
Interesting.
And the article also mentioned that they're getting more and more focused on incorporating sustainability
Okay.
into their product development and manufacturing.
Yeah. That seems to be a trend.
Yeah, so definitely a key consideration for consumers today.
Absolutely.
So P&G really is like a force to be reckoned with in this space.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's move on to our next company, which is Estee Lauder Companies,
Stay Lauder. Okay.
based in New York.
Nice.
And they operate in a very different space than P&G.
Okay.
They're definitely focused on the more premium end of the market.
I see. So more the luxury brands.
Exactly.
Okay.
They kind of carve out their niche with luxury beauty tools.
Okay.
So think like high-end facial massagers, The electric brushes you see at like Nordstrom and
Oh,
Macy's and all those places.
Disney department stores. Yeah.
And advanced hair removal devices.
Okay.
But their strength isn't just in the tools themselves.
Right.
It's how they integrate those tools with their premium skincare and makeup lines.
I see. So it's all part of a cohesive, like,
An ecosystem.
yeah, an ecosystem of beauty.
Exactly. So their luxury branding is like super carefully cultivated
Yeah.
to make people want these technologically advanced tools as like a part of their whole beauty routine.
So it's like an aspirational thing too. It's not just about,
It's definitely aspirational.
yeah, it's about like the whole experience.
A whole package.
Yeah.
And they have a huge presence in over 150 countries
Uh-huh.
with brands that you've definitely heard of,
Oh, yeah.
like Estee Lauder itself,
Yeah.
Clinique La Mer.
Yeah. Big names for sure.
Huge names.
Yeah.
And their 2023 sales were $15.61 billion.
Wow. Still a huge number.
Still a huge number.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see that beauty tools are becoming a bigger and bigger chunk of their total revenue. And the article even calls out the Clinique Sonic system
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
as like a prime example.
Yeah.
So what do you think makes their approach in this luxury segment so effective?
Well, I think one thing is they really understand their customer.
Okay.
It's not just about the function of the tool for them.
Right.
It's about, like you were saying, the experience, the idea that it's going to be more effective because it's a luxury brand,
Right.
and that association with the brand itself.
It's like a status symbol almost.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And like the Clinique Sonic system, for example, it's not just a cleansing brush. It's marketed as a way to get that like Clinique glow that everyone wants.
Right.
So it's tied into that whole brand promise of like premium skincare results.
Right. And they invest in like really sophisticated design.
Oh, yeah.
They work with like top technology developers
Okay.
to make sure that their tools feel and perform at a level that justifies that higher price point.
I see. Yeah, it's got to feel luxurious too. It can't just be like
I got to feel special.
a basic brush, right?
Exactly. Okay, so let's hop across the Atlantic now to Paris
Paris.
and talk about L'Oreal SA,
L'Oreal. Okay, another big one.
another huge beauty industry giant.
Yeah.
But their approach to beauty tools is actually really broad.
Okay.
They cater to both professional and at-home consumers.
So like salons and...
Salons and just regular people,
Yeah.
like me and you.
Okay, cool.
So their offerings range from like really high-performance hair dryers and straighteners,
Okay.
which are under their professional lines, all the way to facial devices and even electric razors.
Okay.
And they do this through brands like Maybelline and Lancôme.
Oh, wow. So they've got a big range.
Huge range.
Yeah.
Their strength is that they provide high-quality, innovative solutions,
Okay.
but across like a really wide range of price points and consumer needs.
So they're hitting a lot of different segments of the market.
Exactly. They're not just focused on one type of customer.
Gotcha.
And they also have a huge global footprint, just like P&G.
It-
They reach people in over 150 countries.
Wow.
Their 2023 revenue was a whopping $41.18 billion.
That's huge.
Yeah, with a big portion of that coming from their beauty tools division.
Okay.
The article called out a couple of things that
Yeah.
they're doing that I thought were really interesting.
Okay.
First, they're investing in smart beauty tools.
What does that mean, smart beauty tools?
So things like the L'Oreal Colorist,
Okay.
which is like a device that kind of guides you through the hair coloring process.
Oh, cool.
So you can get like salon quality result at home.
Interesting.
And these tools often have like connectivity features so they can collect data
Okay.
and then like offer you more personalized recommendations over time.
Oh, that's smart.
So it's all about making those advanced techniques more accessible
Okay.
to people at home.
Yeah. So kind of
Well-
democratizing beauty in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then the other thing they called out is their focus on sustainability.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're seeing that a lot.
Yeah, it's a big trend across the industry. And L'Oreal is no exception.
Yeah. It makes sense.
It shows that they recognize that environmental responsibility is like a really important value to their customers.
For sure.
All right, so let's go back to the U.S. now
Okay.
to talk about Coty Inc., which is also headquartered in New York.
Coty. Okay. I know that name.
You know that name?
Yeah.
And they're really dominant in the more accessible, everyday beauty tools market.
Okay. So like the drugstore brands and stuff.
Exactly. They're all about providing those affordable beauty tools that you use all the time.
Gotcha.
So think like electric hairbrushes, manicure kits, facial cleansing devices.
Yeah, okay.
And they do this through some really well-known mass-market brands like
Yeah.
CoverGirl,
Oh, yeah.
Rimmel Clairol.
Yeah.
So their strength is offering reliable performance,
Okay.
but at prices that are accessible to a really broad consumer base.
So they're not going for the luxury market. They're going for, like,
They're going for the masses.
yeah, everyday people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they understand the needs of consumers who prioritize value and convenience.
Yeah, makes sense.
So their 2023 revenue was about $6.12 billion,
Yeah, okay.
which is smaller than some of the other companies we've talked about,
Right.
but it's still a huge number.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And the article points out that beauty tools and grooming products are becoming more and more important to their portfolio.
Okay.
It seems like they're really good at responding to those like
Yeah.
at-home beauty trends,
Yeah.
and they have strong relationships with retailers.
Right.
So their products are widely available.
We see them everywhere.
You see them everywhere.
Yeah.
So what do you think allows them to compete so effectively on price?
Right, because that seems to be their,
That's their thing.
yeah, their main thing.
Like, how do they do it?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like their efficiency in sourcing and manufacturing is key.
Okay.
They're really good at getting the materials they need
Yeah.
and then producing the products in a really cost-effective way.
So it's all about streamlining that process.
Streamlining and just being smart about it.
Yeah.
And they understand the mass retail environment.
Okay.
They have those strong partnerships
Yeah.
that allow them to get their products out there and in front of people
On the shelves everywhere.
everywhere, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're focused on delivering functional, reliable tools.
Right.
But they don't necessarily have all the bells and whistles of the more premium brands.
So they're keeping it simple and effective.
Simple and effective.
Yeah.
And that works for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
All right, so for our final top 5 company, let's travel to Tokyo
Okay.
to visit Shiseido Co., Ltd.
Shiseido. I love their stuff.
Yeah, they have such a strong heritage in skincare.
They do. Yeah.
And they bring that same philosophy to their beauty tools.
Okay.
They focus on developing tools that enhance and complement skincare routines.
Okay.
So things like specialized facial brushes,
Yeah.
beauty rollers, which are designed for lymphatic drainage, and more advanced hair care devices.
Okay.
Their strengths are their commitment to innovation,
Yeah.
their emphasis on sustainability.
It's a big theme.
It's a big theme.
Yeah.
Their premium product positioning
Okay.
and that kind of unique fusion of cutting-edge technology with like traditional Japanese craftsmanship.
Oh, wow. So they're kind of blending the old and the new.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
And that craftsmanship emphasizes precision and efficacy.
Okay.
It's like they take it very seriously.
Yeah, they want it to be like the best it can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have a significant global presence as well.
Okay.
They're in over 100 countries
Wow. with
key markets in Asia, North America, and Europe.
So they're pretty much everywhere.
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Their 2023 revenue was close to $6.88 billion,
Okay.
with a noticeable chunk coming from what the article calls advanced beauty tools.
Advanced beauty tools. Okay.
So it sounds like they're specifically targeting consumers who are looking for high performance.
Sorry.
And a really sophisticated beauty experience.
Right. So people who are willing to spend a little more
Exactly.
to get that quality.
So how do you think that blend of technology and tradition
Yeah.
actually manifests in their tools?
I'm curious about that.
Well, it seems like they're all about meticulous design.
Okay.
And they use really high-quality materials
Yeah.
that are informed by traditional Japanese techniques.
So they're not just picking any old materials.
Yeah.
They're thinking about the quality and the sourcing and...
They're thinking about it all,
Yeah.
but they're combining that with the latest scientific advancements,
Okay.
like microvibrations or advanced material science,
Interesting.
to create tools that really deliver.
So it's like a marriage of art and science.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay.
So, for example, a facial brush from Shiseido might be crafted with like very specific bristle shapes and densities
Oh,
that are based on traditional brush-making expertise.
Oh, wow.
But then it's also powered by sonic technology for enhanced cleansing.
So it's like taking that traditional knowledge and then
Yeah.
giving it this like modern boost.
Yeah, it's all about elevating that everyday ritual
Right.
through thoughtful design and really performance-driven features.
So it's not just about looking good. It's about,
It's about results.
yeah, results.
So I've talked about the powerhouses, the established leaders,
And yeah, it's the big players.
the big players.
All right.
But the article also highlighted some really interesting up-and-comers,
Okay.
companies that have the potential to really disrupt the market.
The rising stars.
Yeah, and this is where things get even more dynamic.
I like competition. It's good for the consumer ultimately, right?
Yeah, it keeps everyone on their toes.
Yeah, exactly. Keeps those prices down, hopefully.
Yeah, and drives innovation.
Yeah, for sure.
So the article identified 4 key companies to watch.
Okay, let's hear about them.
All right, so the first one is TRIA Beauty,
TRIA Beauty. Okay.
based in California.
All right.
And their specialization is quite focused.
Okay.
They're all about at-home skincare devices.
Okay.
But specifically, FDA-approved laser hair removal technology.
Oh, wow. So they're going right for like the professional level stuff.
They are.
Okay.
Their core strength is that they offer these really effective,
Yeah.
technologically advanced devices
Yeah.
that bring those professional-level treatments into your home.
Wow.
And that provides a really personalized beauty experience.
Okay.
And that FDA approval for the laser hair removal,
Yeah.
that's not just like a regulatory hurdle.
Right.
It shows consumers that their devices are safe and effective.
Yeah. That's a big deal,
Yeah.
especially for something like laser hair removal.
Absolutely.
You want to know it's been vetted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that gives them a big advantage over devices that aren't FDA approved,
Right.
especially for consumers who want those professional results at home.
Yeah, makes sense.
So this puts them in direct competition with some of the higher-end offerings from companies like L'Oreal and Estee Lauder.
Oh, okay. So they're not afraid to go up against the big guys.
They're not afraid.
Okay.
They're coming in strong.
All right.
Okay, next up we have PPI Beauty,
PPI Beauty.
another U.S.-based company.
Okay.
And the article says they are growing really rapidly.
All right.
So they take a broader approach than TRIA.
Okay.
They offer a wide range of beauty tools across hair care, skin care, and general grooming.
So they're kind of covering all the bases.
They're covering all the bases,
Okay.
but their key strength is their value proposition.
Huh.
They provide affordable but still high-quality products.
So they're hitting that sweet spot.
They're hitting the sweet spot
Yeah.
of good quality
Right.
without breaking the bank.
Right.
And they've really been successful with direct online sales,
Okay.
which allows them to reach those price-sensitive consumers really effectively.
So cutting out the middleman.
Cutting out the middleman,
Yeah.
going straight to the customer.
Makes sense.
And that lets them challenge those established companies that rely on more premium pricing and traditional retail channels.
So they're kind of shaking things up a bit.
They're shaking things up.
Yeah.
All right, now for a really interesting entrant,
Okay.
Louis Vuitton,
Louis Vuitton. Wait, the fashion house.
the fashion house,
Wow.
known for luxury.
Luxury. Yeah.
They are now moving into the beauty tools space.
Interesting. So they're expanding their empire.
They're expanding.
Okay.
And this is a really strategic move because they have such strong brand equity.
Yeah. Everyone knows Louis Vuitton.
Everyone knows Louis
Yeah.
Vuitton. And they have that reputation for exclusivity.
Right. You can't just walk in and buy a Louis Vuitton bag.
Exactly. It's aspirational.
Yeah.
And they're focusing on high-end grooming and skincare tools.
Okay.
And they're going straight for their established affluent customer base.
Right. Those people who are already buying their bags and their shoes. And
Their clothes.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So this is a challenge to those premium players like Estee Lauder and L'Oreal,
Okay.
specifically in the luxury segment,
So they're going head to head.
head to head. Because in that segment, brand prestige and perceived quality are really, really important.
Oh, for sure. It's all about the image.
It's all about the image.
Yeah.
And Louis Vuitton has that in spades.
They do.
So it's really about extending that Louis Vuitton lifestyle into the beauty realm.
Interesting.
Okay. And then finally we have ELF Cosmetics.
ELF.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
They're known for their affordable makeup.
Exactly. They're known for being budget friendly.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing that same approach to beauty tools.
Okay.
So they offer things like facial massagers, makeup brushes,
Yeah.
other beauty gadgets,
Okay.
and they keep the prices really low.
So they're going for that same target market.
Same target market,
Yeah.
those budget-conscious consumers.
Makes sense.
And their strength is their distribution.
Okay.
They're in drugstores, they're online,
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Great.
So they have huge reach.
Right.
And this puts them in a position to compete with brands like Coty
Okay.
and even the more affordable offerings from Shiseido.
So they're not afraid to go up against some of the bigger players.
Yeah, they're carving out their space.
They're carving out their space.
Yeah.
So we've got these rising challengers using all these different strategies.
Yeah.
Some are focusing on technology.
Yeah.
Some are focusing on affordability and accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Louis Vuitton coming in with that luxury branding.
Right.
It's a really diverse landscape.
It is.
So what do you think are some of the key takeaways?
Yeah.
Like, what are the strategies that are really working for these companies?
Well, I think for the newer companies, it's
Yeah.
all about balancing innovation with cost effectiveness.
Okay.
Like, consumers want high-performing tools,
Right.
but they don't want to pay an arm and a leg for them.
Right.
So finding that balance is crucial.
Yeah. And what about sustainability?
Oh, yeah. That's huge these days.
Yeah.
Companies that can offer products made with sustainable materials and eco-friendly technologies,
Right.
they're really resonating with consumers.
And it's not just a niche thing anymore.
No, it's becoming mainstream.
Like an expectation.
Yeah, people expect companies to be responsible.
So if you're not doing it,
Right.
you're falling behind.
Exactly.
The article also talked about how important efficient operations are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So things like optimizing sourcing of materials,
Right.
streamlining manufacturing,
Yeah.
even adopting direct-to-consumer e-commerce models.
That cuts out the middleman.
Cuts out the middleman.
Yeah.
All of that helps companies be more cost-efficient.
Right. And then they can offer lower prices.
Exactly. And that's good for the consumer.
Absolutely.
And then geographically, the Asia-Pacific region seems to be like a huge growth opportunity,
That's a big market.
the massive market.
Yeah.
And the article specifically points to China, India, and South Korea
Okay.
as places where the beauty tool sector is booming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Rising incomes,
Right.
more emphasis on beauty and personal care.
People have more money to spend,
They do.
and they want to look good.
They do. And India, specifically, with its expanding middle class
Yeah.
and growing desire for those more premium beauty tools,
Okay.
that's a really attractive market for companies to expand into.
So a big opportunity there.
Big opportunity.
Yeah.
So what about focusing on like specific underserved segments?
Oh, yeah, that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Like finding a niche that's not being served by the big players.
Right. The article suggests that targeting the men's grooming tools segment,
Oh, yeah, that's a growing
a
market.
huge growing market,
Yeah.
or high-tech beauty gadgets,
Okay.
like AI-powered skin analysis devices.
Wow, that's getting fancy.
It is.
Yeah.
And smart mirrors.
Oh, okay.
That could be a really effective way for companies to differentiate themselves.
Yeah, find their own little corner of the market.
Find their niche.
Yeah.
And then build a loyal customer base.
Exactly.
And then finally,
Yeah.
the article really emphasized that continuous investment in R&D is essential.
Research and development.
Yeah,
Mm.
especially in those high growth areas.
So you got to keep innovating.
You got to keep innovating.
You can't just rest on your laurels.
No.
Yeah.
You got to keep pushing forward
For sure.
to stay competitive in this fast-paced industry.
Yeah, because the technology is changing so quickly.
So quickly.
Yeah.
So companies have to be constantly exploring new technologies and solutions
Right.
that are going to meet those evolving consumer needs and preferences.
Makes sense.
And investing in R&D in areas like personalized beauty and connected devices,
Okay.
that's going to be critical for long-term success.
So it's all about staying ahead of the curve.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So it's clear that the beauty tools market is a really dynamic and exciting sector.
It is, yeah.
It's growing so fast.
Yeah.
And you have this really interesting mix of established leaders and ambitious newcomers all
Yeah.
kind of battling it out.
It's a good time to be a consumer, I think, with all this competition.
Yeah, it's definitely driving innovation and hopefully
Yeah.
keeping prices down. So the key takeaway is
Mhm.
that to be successful in this market,
Yeah.
companies have to strike a balance
Okay.
between groundbreaking innovation,
Right.
bringing those exciting new tools to market,
Yeah.
and affordability,
Right.
making those advancements accessible to a wide range of consumers.
Yeah. It can't just be for the elite. It's
Exactly.
got to be for everyone.
So as we see both the rise of those high-tech beauty tools
Yeah.
and the continuing demand for those more budget-friendly options,
Right.
it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
how are your own personalized beauty routines going to evolve in the coming years?
That's a good question.
What role are these increasingly advanced and accessible tools
Right.
going to play in that transformation for you, the listener?
Yeah. What are you most excited about?
Yeah. What innovations are you most intrigued by?
Yeah.
And how do you see those changing your own self-care routine?
Yeah. It's definitely something to think about.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the beauty tools market.
This was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating industry.
It is?
And we'll be back soon with another deep dive into a different topic.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep on exploring and experimenting with all those amazing beauty tools out there
And taking care of yourself.
and taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.